Chris and Creston, do you have internal names, or do you have like fun nicknames for applications, inside? Because to me, in some ways, like that brings culture, because there's always a reason that you named it a certain way. And so I'm always looking for ways to make people feel included and in the know, because that leads to retention, doesn't it?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about a cautionary tale from that. When I started at this company, um, I actually ended up having to go into Figma and draw myself a diagram to put all the various names that matched in the different boxes, because the customer called it this thing, product called it this thing, engineering called it this thing, and they're all internal things, and the real name of the product is this. And I was like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. We get on meetings and you guys are just slinging names around and I don't know what you're talking about. So I actually had to make a diagram and put it on the wall in front of me so I could follow along, in conversations. So while there is, I agree with you, Brittany, that there's this cultural kind of tribe building thing with these internal inside baseball terms and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be useful, but you got to be a little careful with it because it makes onboarding a lot more difficult.
That's true. And you're talking to a person who doesn't have to talk to customers. Now, Josh does. And so he has to remember to switch between the two, because, that's just like translating from French to English rapidly back and forth. And so I like it because it almost like provides a shorthand, because there are many times that Josh and I literally just talk in shorthand. We are the company of acronyms. I imagine every company says this, but
Yeah.
we have so many acronyms that, like, if you don't know what we're talking about, or you don't know the short code to all what we're doing, it can be very confusing. And honestly, sometimes you can get so much weight out of just an emoji reaction between the two of us. It's just like, I'll be like, Josh, da 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 da, and he'll be like, thumbs up, and I'm like, cool, that's all I needed. Bye. Like, it's important to have that.
My organization, I mean, have employees, but my organization is not big enough to have that type of culture or have that thing built in. But when I go to the customers of my app, they're slinging the acronyms all around. Or if I'm going on a consulting gig, or like one of my biggest customers, there's, the whiz bang fadoo and the fibby hibbits and whatever else. And at times I just gotta, okay, what is this thing you're talking about? So I think it's the nature of organizations to kind of come up with these naming abbreviations and shorthands. So yeah,
I think we should limit our shorthands to PEBCAC and ID10T, and then we're done. And anybody in the comments who can tell me what those mean. Okay, I'll spoil it for you. PEBCAC, problem exists between chair and keyboard.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And ID10T, just write that ID10T down on a piece of paper. You'll figure that one out.
Love it.
But yeah, so the internal stuff is important. And I mean, you want to have kind of this, your own culture, your tribe building, because that helps build the camaraderie and the interfacing with people. But you also want to be careful about making it the barrier to entry into your culture so high that people can't get in there. And I think that's important even cross team too, because I know that for us, with my product team, there's sometimes where they'll have their own jargon and engineering has their jargon, and we'll get in a meeting and we'll be like, wait, which thing are you talking about again? And so I think
that's a problem.
Yeah. So I think,
well, that's a fair problem, right? If you're building a new thing, it's like we're teams that build things, and we wouldn't have jobs if it was very easy. And like that's why you have 10 different names for something. Like we're working on a feature now, and we did a broad benchmarking, and like that's why we have all these features or names for this one thing that does the same thing, and that's exactly how it happens. And like I think recognizing that, but then also like finding a process of like how we go back and define that before we start. So we've had that happen too. Engineer build something and this name is in the code, and we get to marketing, and marketing's like, no, this works with SEO a lot better. And we're like, okay, cool, but like
Yeah.
now the engineers need to know that when you say widget A isn't working, it actually means like go look at whatever part of the code that's called, this.
Brittany looks very
I
frustrated
am
right now.
so triggered right now because this absolutely happens. And because I usually am one of the first people to look at bugs. And so like immediately I'm going to the code and trying to figure out what's going on. And Josh is totally correct that I have to, translate like what the marketing term ends up being. And we all know engineers don't like to name things. And so I often try to pawn it off on Josh. And so Josh and I will agree on it. And he's totally right that when we get to that actual release, they'll be like, oh, it's time to rename it. I'm never going to put in the work with engineering to rename all those classes. Like that is far too many RSpec tests. Like just not going to do it. I always say I'm going to do it later. Do
Not
I?
gonna happen.
No.
Yeah, I got so there were certain visible portions of my product, and I had my own internal names that I had come up with them for everything. And then the customer said, well, we really wanted to say this. We really wanted to say this. And another one say this. I was like, all right, customization all around. You just internally, it's called this. And you could change this little box to change it whatever you want it to be.
Oh, that's
Everyone's
so
been
smart.
much happier.
Yeah, I love that. So basically you gave them a form object that they're able to update that and it just translates everywhere, but you're able to keep your code to be the same.
Yeah.
Love it. That's what you got
So
to
it's
do.
like, and it also appeals to different use cases, because if you're dealing with parents, it can say parents, or if it's student, because I come from colleges and universities serving them, or if it's for student, it's a student type of project. You could name it students instead of, calling it, I don't know, guests or attendees or whatever it was. So
We had an interesting situation where our marketing team, owns the customer facing website, the marketing website, which I think is ideal. You don't want engineering owning that. Like I am a big
Yeah, no.
fan. Don't ever want to write a CMS ever again. No, thank you. Not today, Satan. But they did a completely different rebrand to the marketing website. And I was like, it looks great. You're not expecting us to bring that into the product, right? And they're like, no, next quarter. We would like you to bring in the marketing adjustments. It's just like,
You're like,
I should.
damn it, I knew that was coming.
You know what? My front end developer knew it was coming. I was in denial, but he knew it was coming.
Now, wait, how are they merging? What are they going to be merging? Or what is the
so
desire
the
to
marketing
merge?
website has like new fonts and colors and logos.
So they want to apply that to the right, that type of facelift to the product. It's okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not horrible. It's not horrible, but to me, it's unplanned work. So it's just factoring it in.
Well, they planned it.
I
so
remember.
There should be time that they have accounted to say, all right.
I remember as an engineer walking down the hallway past the marketing office, and if their door was closed, I always got a sinking feeling in the bottom of my stomach going, oh shit, next week there's going to be some hell to pay. I'm going to have all kinds of front end work to do, and it's not going to be pretty. Oh.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here, or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.